What up? It's Travi.
My name is Matt. We're from the band Gym Class Heroes.
We're actually in a shower. I mean, considering the fact that, you know, we were signed due to our internet buzz and I don't know, the internet's kind of always been a tool for us to not only connect with fans, but to keep them in the know of what's going on in Gym Class Heroes world. And it's not usually anything too out of the ordinary, but sometimes we feel it's fun enough to share, you know?
I think it's cool to give fans like a look at, I mean, they obviously know us as musicians and artists, but to actually give them a look at our personality, I think there is a mystique that can do.
But I also think, I mean, we're the kind of band who really doesn't have anything to hide, you know what I mean? But I think if anything, there's more mystique gained, you know, by kids wanting to know more and more and more. I mean, if, you know, there were if you, like, say back in high school when I was huge into the Deftones, I'm still a huge Deftones fan. If, you know, I was in high school and Chino was updating his blog daily, I'd be on that shit every day, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I don't think blogs existed when we were in high school yet, but I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely it's a way for, you know, not only a way for us to get shit off of our chests, but just to kind of speak on things and not have to worry about the backlash of people's comments or anything, you know. So
I think it's cool too, because I think naturally kids just sort of develop this larger than life persona for, you know, artists or musicians that they're into. So I think this is also a good way to convey to them that we're just as human and down to earth as they are, you know.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. It's because there's so much stuff attached, you know, and so many expectations attached to, you know, when people do think you are this, I don't know, like, there's definitely a stigma attached to having any type of celebrity or fame or whatever, but I think we kind of desensitize that with our blogs and with our, you know, internet ramblings, just as therapeutic as keeping a journal would be, you know what I'm saying? I think, I mean, Matt's definitely put me in my place plenty of times, you know what I'm saying? I've had to head check his ass a couple of times, you know? But, I mean, I think with you know, any relationship, I mean, I think if you look at bands, and not to compare us to these bands in any way, but, you know, Anthony Kiedis and Flea, you know, their relationship, or, you know, like, whoever, you know, like, there's always, I mean, with us being in this band for so long together, I think we definitely have gotten to know each other very, very, very well. I know this kid better than I know some of my family members, you know, and I think he can say the same. But that being said, I think it also gives an authenticity to the band, you know, the fact that, you know, we started in '97, have been pushing along with each other for so long, so.
I think it gives it a story, you know, for people to know that we actually come from, you know, humble beginnings and kind of took, I guess, the traditional route to success, which is, you know, fooling around and playing songs for years in my parents' living room and garage, and then doing small regional shows, and it kind of building like a snowball effect from there. So I think it definitely gives it a cool story, you know, to know that we were actually all friends before any of the success.
A lot of people have the misconception that we were a band that was kind of put together, and that's definitely not the case at all. I love this guy. I think, especially, you know, growing up, I was really heavy into underground hip-hop and whatnot, and just as much as I was into Smashing Pumpkins or, you know, Pavement or NoFX, you know, and you know, when me and Matt met in high school, I introduced him to a lot of hip hop, and he introduced me to a lot of rock that I'd never heard of. You know, so it was this cool friendship, but it was also this cool like learning experience as far as music and you know, bands that neither of us had ever heard before. You know, so we were exchanging music. He'd make me when the first CDRs came out, he would burn me CDs. I didn't have the technology to do that, so
took like
I made
an
mixtapes.
Hour and a half to burn like one disc of like 12 songs.
Yeah, way back.
I think that's like the most pivotal source of really getting into new bands. Is, you know, in my experience, it's been through my friends. You know, and with me and Travis, it was always very based on our appreciation of music as fans and stuff. The only difference being that we were in a band together. So I think that wide appreciation for a lot of different styles of music kind of came into play when we were just starting to write songs, and I think that just naturally sort of poured out into our music.
All the things that we were listening to, you know, be it Wu-Tang, Capadonna, KRS, or you know, the Toadies, or you know, the list goes on. But I think in some way, shape, or form, all that stuff that we were listening to kind of crept its way into what we do. So it's not a manufactured effort. It's not like something we even think about. Like it's not. We don't make a conscious effort to go against the grain and say, you know, if this song has to appeal to hip hop heads, but has to have, you know, like a rock edge, so you know, like rock kids will be into it, or you know, I think it's just it just comes naturally, you know. If you look at any music scene in a certain area in particular, you know, like say Chicago, for instance, you know what I mean? When there's a bunch of bands coming out of that area, they're influencing each other, and they tend to sound, you know, similar and whatnot. And in our situation, there weren't a lot of bands in Geneva, New York, where we grew up. So instead of pulling influences from, you know, the music scene that didn't exist, we were pulling influences from the music that we were listening to, you know, and the records that we owned. So we write songs like we breathe air, like this. The best part is, I mean, look at today, for instance, you know, we're on tour with Lil Wayne. We're just headline Warped Tour, you know, and there's not many bands in that scene or in that genre that could finish a tour and go on tour with Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying, or go on tour with The Roots and Estelle, and it's kind of, I mean, and I'm in no way, shape, or form going nah nah boo boo or haha, but I think the fact that we never gave ourselves a category or said, you know what, this is the type of music we make, and kind of left that open to interpretation, I think that kind of gave us the freedom to be able to, you know, hop from tour to tour, no matter who's headlining, if it's us or Lil Wayne or Fall Out Boy, you know what I mean?
It's definitely been an interesting path, and I think, like Travis said, it's really unique, I think, to have the ability to hop from, you know, a rock tour right onto a hip-hop tour and do it with a significant amount of credibility.
I'd say we're pretty, I mean, I think I'm having the time of my life, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I've always felt this way with every tour. You walk away from that tour with something, you know what I'm saying? So for us to be touring with such a diverse, you know, so many diverse artists, from Gwen Stefani to, you know, it just, the list goes on and on. We take something from every tour that we do, and I think that just pushes the gym class envelope even further, you know what I'm saying? Just being surrounded by so many talented people from so many different genres of music, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the perfect, I don't know, it's kind of like this monster that kind of feeds itself, you know, and it's cool. So
I think even to this day, our influences are like continue to be as wide and scattered as they were when we first, you know, were listening to KRS.
If not way more.
Yeah, definitely. Our songwriting prowess is much better even now than it was several years ago. So it'll certainly be interesting to see how the next album turns out.